You ever look around and feel like you're just one more guy in the crowd? Like no one's really paying attention? Not because they dislike you, but because they don't see you. You're not the loudest, not the flashiest, not the one cracking jokes in the middle of the room. And somewhere along the way you started believing that meant you didn't matter. But what if that's exactly what makes you different? Most people are busy performing, trying to be seen, trying to be liked. You're just being you. No mask, no show, no desperate need to impress. And that, believe it or not, makes people curious, makes them lean in. Because when someone's not trying too hard, it usually means they've got something solid underneath. Something real. You walk through life thinking you're forgettable, but here's the thing. People remember the ones who don't chase attention. You may not turn every head the moment you step in, but give it time, and you're the one that sticks in their mind. That energy, that calm, that steady vibe, it lingers. You're not a firework, you're a slow burn. And that kind of presence doesn't fade when the lights go out. Think about the way people react to you. The random compliments. The way someone starts opening up 5 minutes after meeting you. The people who feel better just being around you even if they don't say it out loud. That's not random. That's your energy doing the talking. And it speaks louder than looks ever could. You don't need to be the guy with the six-figure lifestyle or the perfectly curated Instagram to be attractive. You don't need a designer outfit or a fresh fade every week. What you do have is something deeper, something quieter, and honestly, something more powerful. You listen when others talk. You move with intention. You don't force your way into every conversation, yet people still notice when you're not there. The world is full of noise, full of people trying to outshine each other. But real ones, the ones who are solid, grounded, calm in a storm, they don't compete. They don't need to, because their presence already says enough. And you, without realizing it, might be that guy. You've just been comparing yourself to the wrong examples, looking for signs of worth in places that were never built for someone like you. The truth is, your strength isn't in being flashy. It's in being consistent, present, unshaken. So stop assuming you're average. You're not. You're just not loud about your value, and that's okay. Because when something's real, it doesn't need to shout. It just shows up, holds its ground, and lets people feel it. And trust me, they do. You don't need to change. You just need to recognize who you already are. You ever notice how people just start telling you things? Out of nowhere. Deep stuff. Personal stuff. Things they probably haven't said out loud before. It's not small talk. It's confessions. And it happens more often than you think. They say, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but they keep going. And you sit there listening, wondering why you. Why not someone else? Why do they feel so safe so quickly? It's not by accident. You give off something different. Something steady. Something real. You're not judging them. You're not trying to fix them. You're just there, present, focused, grounded. And in today's world, that's rare. That's powerful. Most people walk around guarded, afraid to open up, scared to be vulnerable. But with you, the walls come down. Not because you said something slick. Not because you're overly charming. But because you don't come with an agenda. You're not trying to win points. You're not trying to impress. And that's exactly why they trust you. People feel your energy before you even say a word. They sense that calm. That silence that doesn't feel awkward, just safe. That space where they don't have to perform. Where they don't have to pretend. Around you, they can just be. That's rare. And women? They pick up on that fast. They won't always explain it. Sometimes they don't even understand it themselves. But something about you makes them feel like they can breathe easier. Like they don't have to wear the mask they show to everyone else. That right there? That's attraction at the deepest level. It's not about being the smoothest talker. It's not about having the right pickup line. It's about presence. It's about being someone who actually listens, who doesn't interrupt, who doesn't make it about himself. That's a trait most men overlook, and most women are drawn to. You've probably brushed it off. You've probably told yourself, I'm just a good listener. But there's more to it. Good listeners are everywhere. What you have is presence, stability, that unspoken sense of I've got you, without even needing to say it. Think about how often people lean into you, how often they circle back to your opinion, How often they look to you in a group even if you're not the loudest one. That's respect. That's emotional pull. That's influence. And you're not even trying. That's the key. You're not forcing connection. You're simply creating the space for it. And people feel it immediately. You might not look in the mirror and see anything special, but other people do. They see someone they can trust, someone they can open up to, someone whose energy doesn't drain them, it grounds them. That's not luck. That's presence. That's your power. When things go sideways, most people panic. You don't. That's the difference. You stay cool when everyone else is cracking. You breathe when others are freaking out. That's not just a personality trait, that's power. Pressure exposes people. It strips away the image and shows the truth. And when chaos hits, the guy who keeps his composure becomes the one everyone turns to. Not because he's the loudest, but because he's the calmest. Because when the room's full of noise, the quietest man suddenly becomes the one with the most control. You've probably seen it happen. A stressful situation unfolds, a deadline, a confrontation, some high-stakes moment, and people start spiraling. Emotions everywhere. Voices rising. People losing grip. But there you are, steady. Not frozen. Not distant. Just focused. Clear. Present. That kind of self-control doesn't scream. It doesn't flinch. It holds the line. And people notice. They may not say it, but they feel safer around you. They feel more grounded just by standing next to you. You don't add fuel to the fire, you cool it down just by existing in the space. And women? They sense that immediately. They're not just watching how you treat them, they're watching how you handle life. Anyone can be charming when everything's going well. But how do you react when it's messy? When it's uncomfortable? When things don't go your way? If you're still composed in that moment, that's when you separate yourself from the rest. There's a quiet confidence in not needing to be reactive, in choosing stillness instead of snapping, in thinking before speaking. That calm under fire says more about you than any polished words ever could. It says you're not ruled by emotion. You're not led by panic. You're in charge of yourself. And that's rare. Because most people crumble. They fold. They run their mouth or run away. But you stay in it. You handle it. Not perfectly, not robotically, but with control. With a mindset that says, I can take this. That energy creates trust. And trust builds attraction faster than anything else. You may not even realize how much that steadiness draws people in. How it makes you dependable without saying a word. You might think you're just being chill. But that level of calm? It stands out. In a world full of overreaction, your balance is magnetic. You don't need to be loud to show strength. You just need to be unshaken. Because the man who doesn't get rattled, he becomes the one others lean on. Not just during the storm, but after it too. That's when they see it. That's when they feel it. That's when they realize you're not just another guy. You're the one they want nearby when everything's falling apart. Ever catch someone using your phrase? Wearing something similar to what you wore last week? Laughing like you laugh? At first it seems like nothing. Just coincidence. But it's not. That's influence. Most people don't copy what doesn't leave a mark. They mimic what makes an impact. And when your energy starts showing up in other people's habits, it means you're shaping the space without even trying. You didn't ask them to follow your lead. You didn't push your style or your way of thinking. You just lived your life naturally. And still they adjusted. That says something. That says a lot. People don't mirror those they don't respect. They don't echo people who fade into the background. They do it when someone's presence hits different. When someone's rhythm starts to affect their own. That's you. It might be your tone, your timing, the way you explain things, the way you carry yourself without needing approval. All of it creates a pattern others unconsciously start to follow. That's not random, that's power. You think you're just existing, but people are picking up the blueprint. And not because you told them to, but because they want to feel what you feel. That steadiness. That quiet confidence. That calm sense of identity that you don't advertise but somehow radiate. You've probably seen it with your close friends. One of them starts ordering the same drink. Another one laughs before you finish your sentence, already expecting the punchline. They've synced with you without even knowing it. Now look deeper. A woman starts using your slang. She mirrors your posture. She starts reacting the way you react. That's not surface-level flirting. That's instinctual alignment. That's chemistry showing itself in body language before anyone says a word. You don't need to perform to get that kind of attention. You just need to keep being you. Because the strongest influence is the one that feels effortless. The kind that seeps into the atmosphere, not the kind that fights to be seen. You're not out here trying to be a leader. But guess what? People follow you anyway. That's the mark of real presence. Quiet, subtle, felt more than heard. And here's the key. Most people have no idea when they're doing it. They just feel better around you. So they start doing what you do. Talking like you. Laughing like you. Dressing like you. Not to be fake, but to feel close to something genuine. That's what makes you stand out. You're not begging for attention. You're becoming the standard without realizing it. And in a world full of noise, the one with quiet influence becomes unforgettable. You don't need to chase validation when your presence already shifts behavior. Keep showing up as yourself. Because the ones who get it, they're already tuning in. You ever miss an event and suddenly everyone's texting you? Where were you? Not out of politeness, but because your absence actually changed the vibe. The room didn't feel the same. The energy shifted. Things were quieter or maybe just less alive. That's not a fluke. That's proof you carry weight. See, some people show up and no one notices. Others leave and people feel it immediately. You're the second type. You may not think of yourself as the centerpiece, but your presence moves the room. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be the center of attention. Just being there creates a different atmosphere. And when you're gone, that gap gets noticed. It's not about being the funniest. It's not about being the loudest. It's about how people feel around you. Your energy brings balance. Your vibe makes things feel right. You have a way of anchoring the environment without saying much. And when you're not there, it's like the foundation's missing a piece. People start asking questions. Did you tell him about this? I wonder what he'd say. That's not because you're flashy. That's because you matter. Because your input brings value. Your presence brings peace. Even if you're the guy who just chills in the corner, people feel that calm. They feel the difference. And women? They notice even faster. Maybe she didn't say much when you were around. But when you're not, she feels that blank space. That silence that wasn't there before. That missing energy. The emotional shift tells her more than words ever could. It lingers. That's the part you probably miss. You don't always hear the compliments. You don't always see the reactions. But when your name keeps coming up in conversation even when you're not there, that's a sign. A big one. You're not easily replaced. That's rare. You can't fake that kind of presence. You've got something built in. Something that holds emotional real estate in people's minds. You're not just a person in the room, you're a reason the room feels better. You don't have to speak much. You don't need a spotlight. You walk in and things shift. You leave and people feel it. That's not normal. That's impact. Most people try to force that. You do it without effort. And the wild part? You probably downplay it. Tell yourself you're just a quiet guy, a chill dude, nothing special. But people don't check in on someone who doesn't matter. They don't notice the absence of someone forgettable. They notice yours. So next time you miss something and people tell you it wasn't the same, believe them. That's not a throwaway comment. That's a reflection of your value. Your energy holds space. And when it's gone, that space feels empty. You don't need to try harder. Just recognize what's already true. You're not background noise. You're part of the rhythm. Most guys think they have to be perfect to be attractive. Like if they mess up, fall behind, or take a loss, it somehow makes them less of a man. But real strength? Real attraction? It's not found in never falling, it's found in how fast you stand back up. You've had setbacks. You've had days that knocked the wind out of you. Maybe it was rejection. Maybe failure. Maybe life just hit harder than expected. But you didn't quit. You didn't break. You adjusted. You kept going. That right there? That's what people respect. That's what makes women really look at you. You didn't fold. You didn't run. You faced it. Took the hit and kept your dignity intact. That doesn't just show grit, it shows maturity. Most people avoid pain. You absorbed it and moved forward anyway. Quiet resilience always speaks louder than loud ego. When life gets rough, people watch how you respond. Are you bitter? Are you angry? Or do you stay grounded even when everything feels shaky? If you're the guy who keeps his head up even when his back's against the wall, that's rare. That's attractive in a way looks will never be. Think about it, anyone can smile when things are going right. But when you're still composed during the chaos, when you don't let failure define your mood or your mindset, you stand out without even trying. That calm after the storm? That's something people don't forget. She might not say it, but she sees it. The way you take the L and don't let it destroy your confidence. The way you pivot instead of pout. The way you keep showing up even after disappointment. That tells her more about you than a good line ever could. Resilience isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention. But it commands respect. It creates a steady presence that people trust. And trust is the foundation of any real connection. Especially with women. They want to know you can handle pressure. Not just from the world, but from life, relationships, and yourself. You've proven probably more times than you even remember that you won't stay down. That's what makes you different. Not how clean your record is, but how real your recovery is. Not how polished you look, but how solid you are when things get messy. You've been through enough to break someone else, but you're still here. Still growing. Still leveling up. That alone makes you magnetic. Not because you're untouched, but because you're unshaken. And maybe you don't see it yet. Maybe you think it's just survival. But from the outside, it looks like strength. It looks like character. It looks like the kind of man people feel safer around. So the next time life tests you, remember this: how you recover says everything. It's not about being flawless. It's about being forged. And trust me, people notice. Even when you think no one's watching, they feel your comeback. You've been looking for proof that you matter, that you're enough, that there's something in you worth noticing. And the wild part? The proof's been there the whole time, you've just been too close to see it. It's in the way people react to you without you doing much. It's in the way their body language softens. In the way they pay attention when you speak, even if you're not saying anything flashy. That's presence. That's the kind of energy people don't forget. But you've been stuck comparing yourself to the loudest guys in the room. To the ones chasing validation. To the ones showing off what they think they need to be liked. You've confused noise with value. And that's where you've been selling yourself short. Because you bring something deeper. You're not about show. You're not performing. You're just real. And in a world full of filters, hype, and empty confidence, real hits different. It doesn't always get the applause at first. But it lasts. It lingers in people's minds long after the spotlight moves. That's what you need to start seeing in yourself. You don't need permission to believe in your worth. You don't need likes, followers, or validation from strangers to confirm it. You've been walking around with the kind of presence most people try to fake, and you didn't even know it. Start paying attention to the things that don't lie. The way people trust you without knowing why. The way they feel more grounded after talking to you. The way they remember your words, your calm, your energy. Those aren't accidents. Those are signs. You're not invisible. You're just not loud about it. But the truth is, you don't have to be. Your strength is in your steadiness. Your confidence is in how you move, not how you boast. Your value isn't found in highlight reels. It's found in the way people feel when you're around. That's a different level of attraction. One you can't fake. One you don't need to advertise. Because it's already there. Quiet. Consistent. Real. You've been giving that to the world without even realizing it. Now it's time you give that recognition to yourself. Look at how people open up to you. How they notice when you're gone. How they shift to your rhythm. How they calm down in your presence. That's not background behavior. That's impact. You've been waiting for a sign that you matter. This is it. So stop shrinking. Stop doubting. Stop ignoring the evidence that's been right in front of you. You are not average. You never were. You just hadn't owned it yet. But now you can. Because once a man starts seeing what's already in him, everything changes. Not because he becomes someone new, but because he finally understands who he's always been.